Before covering the inside of the album, decide what kind of closure you're going to put, because if you were to put something that has a brad and then the prongs come through the back and you open them up, then what you could do is cover the prongs of the brads with your liner paper on the inside. Or if you're going to use a toggle and chain, then you're going to want to mat the inside before you use your crocodile or whatever tool you want to use to punch your holes and set eyelets, because you'll want to set the eyelet through the inside paper as well. So I'm going to attach this paper inside my cover, and when I measure where to trim the paper, I'm going to make sure that I don't cover inside the crease. I don't want my paper to bend in there, so I'm going to make it so that it just ends before the crease where the cover folds. So I'm going to place my paper like that, just before the fold, and I want to line it up with the top of my fabric and the bottom. And I'm just going to mark here where to trim. And then I'm going to line it up with the left edge of the inside liner. So about there. So I'm going to trim this. And that will fit in here like that. So I'm going to use a combination of my two-sided tape and some glue for the area that's going to go over the fabric to make sure that this stays on there. So I've lined inside my covers, the front and the back. And I think for the closure, I'm just going to do a simple closure with some seam binding. I got this out of my mom's sewing box. When was the last time you saw seam binding for 25 cents? I think it's pretty safe to say that this is vintage stuff. So I'm going to grab one of these eyelets, and I'm going to attach it to the back cover. And I want to make sure that it's going to be centered, so I'm just going to take this piece of scrapbook, or this piece of scrap paper, and I cut it to measure 8.5, which is the height of my cover, like that, just so I can find the middle. I folded it in two, so I can use this as a guide. I'm going to grab my crocodile, and I'm going to punch about a 1/4 inch from the edge, like that. And then I just press down around the edges of the brad of the eyelet, like that, so it sticks through all the way. And if you want to do this type of closure, just use whatever tool you have for setting your eyelets, or you don't even need an eyelet if you want to just leave a hole punched with no eyelet. That's up to you. But the eyelet makes it a little bit stronger. There we go. So I'm going to measure out my seam binding. Yeah, this is pretty old stuff. There's a little stain here, so I'm going to trim that off. And I'm going to cut it at an angle like that. Let's prevent fraying. Okay, so I'm going to tie it. I'm going to have it go like that, and I want a bow. So I just fold it in two, and then I pass the ends through the loop like that, and then this will go around like this. And I can just tie it into a bow. I think I'll need a larger piece. I cut this a little bit too small, so I'm going to cut another piece that's a little bit longer, and it'll look better. So I also found another package of seam binding, so I decided to attach the two pieces together and make a little bow on the side, like that. So now, while I think of it, I'm going to finish taping the center sections of my signatures because I don't want the cord showing. So I'm going to use some two-sided tape. I'll just remove the tape backing. Make sure it's nice and even. There's my photo mat page. Now the next one is a pocket, and I want to mat the top section so that it's not just white paper. I think I can use this strip of paper, and that will look nice like that. So I'm just going to trim this. Put that, I'll just adhere that with some two-sided tape. I don't need to tape the bottom section because it's going to be covered by the pocket anyways. And I'm just going to tape these sides down. Now I could have done a pocket where you fold the seams in and you attach it, but I didn't want to add too much bulk to the journal because it's already quite thick. So I figured I'll just tape these pockets down flat. That. So normally you would be able to insert something all the way up to the edge, but I'm going to be, because I'm taping this down flat, then whatever you insert will have to go into the center section of the pocket, not all the way top to bottom. So then I'm going to do my other photo mat. And then this pocket, and this is the same, I'm just going to tape from one end to the other. And then I'll also tape the last photo mat. After that, I'm going to start attaching some tabs to the side pages. A lot of people are putting tabs in their journals, and they use textiles, cardstock, whatever. And I think it looks really nice. It's a great way to embellish the album while leaving still all that room for the journaling. Now here I have my doilies, and I want to tape these down as well. And I'm just attaching that to my coffee stained paper. So this forms a pocket. Actually, it forms a double pocket. You've got two layers in there that you can put some photos or mementos in, although you have to be careful because these little doilies are delicate. There's that one. And then I do have another one here. This one, I'm just going to attach like that. I'm going to put a strip of tape along the bottom. Like that, and maybe later I will add another strip or another piece of tape there, and then I can use that for another pocket. And what else? Here in these little plastic protectors, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some paper to size. That will fit inside the pocket. I need a wider piece for that side, but I need a narrow piece for this one. So I can trim this here. Actually, I can use this side. So these are just little ways of embellishing the journal without taking up too much space. And you can put some photos on here. Like that. And I would put another one on the back, or you can always leave that plain just for journaling. So when I come back, I'm going to start making some tabs. I'm going to make some tabs for my book, and I've decided that the tabs that I'm going to add to the first page of each signature, the cover page, I'll make them so that a title or a date or whatnot can be written on it. So I'm just using some plain cardstock for that. And I've got these Spellbinders dies for making tabs. But you can just take some cardstock, fold it in two, cut it by hand, and you can just make your own tabs. You don't need to get some dies to do that. But I have these available, and they just happen to come in 5 different shapes. And I've got 5 signatures, so I'm going to use those to attach to my signature pages. So I'm just going to put some 2-sided tape on here. Like that. And then I'm going to attach these to each page just like that, and it's just going to stick out a little bit. Now when I'm laying my tabs out in the pages, I'm going to keep in mind that I've got this ribbon tie in the center, and it's going to go across like that. So I don't want, if I'm putting tabs in the center, I don't want them to stick out too much. I don't want them to get damaged by the ribbon. Or I can just avoid this area. I can put tabs here, here, and then maybe close to it, and then the same thing on this side, and just avoid the center area. But it's just something to keep in mind if this is the type of closure that you're using. And also I'm going to ink just around the edges of these before I attach them. And I'm going to do both sides. And this one will go at the very front. So I just removed my two-sided tape from one side. Then I can position this like that, and then once I know it's straight, I can just lower the tab like that. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and attach my tabs to each of these front signature pages. So I've attached my tabs that I can write on, and I'm going to embellish the edges of my pages. Now, because this album is already quite thick, I'm not going to put too much in there, but the tabs are a really great way to embellish without adding too much bulk. And tabs are very popular in journals. I see them everywhere now. People are making them out of ribbon, out of beads and whatnot. I'm going to attach a few beads in there, but I came across this as well, and I thought this is great with the theme of this journal. So I'm going to attach it. I need a fairly stiff page because I'm going to hot glue this. So I'm going to take the back page of my first signature, because these are going to dangle down like that, so I want it at the top of my journal, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to attach this, and I'm going to put maybe some paper along the edge because I don't want to get any hot glue on my other pages. So I'm going to put that like that. I hope this isn't frame. And then this is, which is the right side? This is the right side. This is going to go like that. I've already tucked the ends under. I cut it and I tucked the ends under and put some glue on there so that it wouldn't fray. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. And if you want to see some very pretty journals, I just remembered the name Amity Bloom. She's got gorgeous journals and she's got lots of texture, and she also has a lot of these little tabs in her albums. She does really pretty work. Okay, so there's my little border like that, and that's going to just hang down like that. Then you take all your bits and pieces that you have left over from past projects, and you can make little tabs out of them. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to just cut this straight across like that, and I'm going to cut it so it's about 1.5 inches. Like that. And then I'm just going to fold it in two, and I'm going to use that as a little fabric tab. So let's find another page. Actually, I can put it on this one. And what I want to do is I want to stagger my tabs. So let's say I'm starting here, and then I've got these beads, and then I've got this. So I'm going to put this tab here at the top, and I'm going to work my way down. So I'm going to position that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. And fold this over like that. Actually, I think I glued it upside down, so I'm going to remove it now while I can. I did. I put the glue on the wrong side, so I'm going to start over. And some of these are going to fray, but it just adds texture to the journal. And then I'm also going to put a bit of glue right in the center so that when I fold it in two, the ends will hold together. Like that. So I'm going to go ahead and attach some more of these tabs throughout the journal, and then I'll show you what I did. So here's my little tabs that I finished attaching to the pages, and some of them I punched an eyelet and I added these little charms as well. So here's a little pair of sunglasses, and then this one, I've seen this on some YouTube videos. It's just a pin with a few little beads on it, and I added this little bottle opener charm to it. And then here is a little flower and some more little ribbons. I think it finishes the pages really nicely. Then I decided to put some trim just around the edge of my spine. So I hope you end up making your own journal and have fun doing it. I'd love to see pictures, so you can always email me at scrapandrabbit@gmail.com if you want to send me pics of your work or send me links to your own YouTube videos. Have a nice day. Bye.